Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tea Time Tuesday. Welcome to the Renewal Center's Tea Time Tuesday. We are so excited that you've taken the time this afternoon to stop and pause and to come and join us for a time of building resilience and a time to reset yourself. We want to say once again, welcome to everyone. We want to invite everyone to like and share this broadcast on your social media platforms, and to let you know that the Renewal Center is streaming live at the over there on YouTube. And so if you like and share our YouTube channel and ask others to subscribe to our channel, you'll be able to stay abreast on a lot of the broadcasts that are going on over there. So welcome again to Tea Time Tuesday. It's a beautiful day here in the historic district of North Carolina, right here in Concord. Sorry about that. Concord, North Carolina. And that's where the Renewal Center is. We want to welcome everyone today. We're just excited about our Tea Time Tuesday today and the renewal practices that we have in store for all of us so that we can glean from those. So we're looking forward today to an engaging time of tea time, and go ahead and invite your friends, gather your tea, get your journal for a time to just engage in tea time community dialogue and engagement today. So once again, this is all about stopping throughout the workday and pausing throughout the workday to take time to build ourselves up. So this is a good time. And so while we are actually still in the month of February, we are acknowledging Black History Month here at the Renewal Center. And we want to say thank you and honor all the African Americans that have actually given different things and contributed to our communities and to our society and the great contributions to our world. So we are excited. Hello, there's our Executive Director, Patrick J. Brown. Yes, we want to say hello to everyone, and we want to thank everybody for joining in. And I don't want to delay too much, but we really want people to go and invite your friends and to let them know that Tea Time is on the air right now. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started like we always do at the Renewal Center with our book of the week. We have our book of the week here in our thought room at the Renewal Center, and it is called A Gentle Thunder, Hearing God Through the Storm, and that's by Max Lucado. We got several books from Max Lucado, from the author Max Lucado, in the thought room. And so this is what the book is about. It's saying a gentle thunder, hearing God through the storm. And it says, with pictures and parables from everyday life, Max Lucado calls us to trust in tough times. God's goal, Max reminds, is to get us home safely. He'll do whatever it takes to save his children. God's thunder is gentle, and his gentleness never ends. So in this touching book, hear a message of hope. Today's struggles may be tomorrow's blessing. So if you're at the Renewal Center or wherever you are and you're interested in this book, it's called A Gentle Thunder, and it's Hearing God Through the Storm by Max Lucado. Very good read. So this is just really great. And so we're going to move on to our tea of the week. And I hope you guys got some tea out there to share with us in a few minutes. So while you are actually getting your tea of choice in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and share what our tea is today. And it's Ceylon tea. I know we've shared this a while back when we first started Tea Time Tuesday, what Ceylon tea is. And Ceylon tea is named after the area that it's actually grown in. And it's originally grown and produced in Sri Lanka. It is a wonderful tea that's enjoyed throughout all over the world. It's a very popular tea, actually. And it has such a bold and citrusy flavor. You can, it's a black tea, it's a form of black tea, and you could steep it and actually serve it hot or cold, just like any of the other black teas. And so we really enjoy Ceylon tea. It's a very enjoyable tea. And so when you want to do your research on Ceylon tea, let us know if you like it at the Renewal Center. Okay, and so while I am doing, finishing up our tea of the week, we want to take this time a little bit more to just center ourselves and locate ourselves. We do that every Tea Time Tuesday. It's our opportunity to just relax ourselves and to just become at a place of calm. So if you're at your desk or wherever you may be, this is a good time to just locate yourself. If you're seated, there's a very nice picture right there on the screen that just draws you in. So let's take a moment, locate yourself, and just take some nice deep breath and just relax yourself and just become aware of the stillness around you. And so we'll do that for a few minutes and then we'll go into our Tea Time Tuesday. We really want to recognize just the relaxation and the peace around us while we're locating yourself. How are you feeling at this moment? What are you thinking of? You can just relax your mind and bring it to a place of calm. We do so many things throughout the course of the day, so this is a good time to just relax. A few more seconds here. All right. I hope that you are enjoying this time of locating yourselves. So important that we take time out to relax and to become aware of where we are. And then this really positions us to take this opportunity. Hello, Nicole, good to see you. To take this opportunity to just be able to start journaling some of these practices that we're going to be doing shortly. So, without delay, we're going to go ahead and bring our Director of Digital Renewal and Stewardship, Hope T. Melton. She is going to take us into our tea time practices today.
All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Carmela, and welcome. Welcome everyone to Tea Time. Good afternoon. Thank you for the opening, just the time to locate ourselves. We do it every week here at the Renewal Center's Tea Time. This is part of our Tea Time, practice that we take time to just pause, to just locate ourselves, to center ourselves, to allow our thoughts and minds to just calm down and just prepare for this time of engagement. So thank you all for joining in. I hope you got your tea. I hope you have your notepad, your tea time notepad that's dedicated just to tea time and writing down as we share some renewal practices with you all today. Carmela, did you want to stay on or did you want me to come back in toward the end?
I'll come back in on
All
the
right.
end.
All right. Thank you. Well, I'll see you on the other side in a little bit.
Okay.
All right, again, everyone, and welcome to Tea Time. So great to be with all of you this afternoon, our Tea Time community. If this is your first time joining us on Tea Time, we would like to welcome you and say, welcome. This is our Tea Time community. And for those who are faithful Tea Timers, welcome again. Great to be with all of you this afternoon as we go into a time of engaging and sharing here on tea time, and I'm definitely being excited with all of you. I see some have shared their drinks this afternoon. Okay, living by faith every day. All right, you have black tea. All right, always can't go wrong with tea. Black tea. All right, Daphne says no tea today. Starbucks caramel macchiato with extra shot of espresso. All right, face turquoise drinking coffee. All right, thank you so much, Daphne, for sharing that today. Your drink. Good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon, Monique. Good afternoon. Welcome. Welcome. All right. All right. So, thank you all for joining. Please remember to like and share this broadcast that others may be aware of what we're doing at the Renewal Center with our tea time. All right. I see some teas have come in. French vanilla coffee. Okay. We got coffee today. All right. All right. And then the Coconut blueberry coffee. I like blueberries, so I've never tried blueberry coffee, but that's something that would interest me and provoke thought to try it. So thank you so much for sharing, Nicole. You always have such different types of teas and coffees that you share. This is what tea time is all about: a time to pause, reset, and build resilience in a community where we share, where we grow, where we take the time in the middle of this afternoon to just take time to get us going for the rest of the day and to something to reflect upon for the rest of the week. So again, guys, welcome to Tea Time. So we've already done our locate yourselves, and I'm so glad that we take that time again to do that. Again, we want to welcome everyone to Tea Time. Welcome, welcome so much. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Good afternoon to you as well. All right. All right, tea time. All right, Carmela, that's right. We are excited about tea time this afternoon. And we're just going to go ahead and move forward in tea time. And so, as we know, our community, we are with tea time, we like to talk about and embrace a time to pause, reset, and build resilience. And so, in some of our previous tea times, we have talked about and engaged about different practices that we shared. And so today, just wanted to dig deeper into one of the practices that we kind of share pretty often, especially engaging with mental health and having mental health and having awareness. And so this afternoon, we're going to be talking about social media this afternoon, a time of talking about that this afternoon regarding social media. And I know that, like in our past tea times, we have also talked about, making time to kind of set down our phone or making time to gradually, take those breaks and take those pauses during with our social media. And so I just wanted to dig deeper into that. What does it really mean and why do we need to do it? All right. And so this is not just, I know we hear social media and we think about, teenagers or young people, but we have a whole community of adults that we regularly engage social media, which social media is definitely a part of our lives now. No matter what capacity that we use or whatever it's for, it is a part of today's society, and it's been embedded in our society. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. So I hope that you guys have your notebook, you have your tea time mind cap ready on, and I'm looking forward to the engagement from all of you as we are a community to be able to share today about today's topic, which is social media, the pros and cons of it, and why. And again, as we know, we are part of a society that social media is embedded into, not just for our younger people, but it's also for us adults as well. And we understand and know that awareness is power. So we understand that being aware of our habits, being aware of having boundaries, and we have said this before, but we're gonna dig deeper into that. So I hope you guys have your tea time journals ready and prepared. And so I'm gonna put something up here. I just want to share here on the screen here. And I want you to kind of take a gaze and look at this picture. Take a moment to reflect on this picture and what do you get from this actual picture that here is displayed up on the screen regarding social media? What are you looking at? What does it say to you? How is it speaking to you? What's your perception of this particular picture here that we're sharing right now? And even like the magnet that's coming out, what are you receiving from that? So I'm looking forward to you guys chiming in with your input, chiming in with your views about social media, not just from, again, not from a negative perspective, but the pros and cons and the importance of having balance. Because we always say and share here at tea time, taking time to take a pause. And sometimes we do need to take a pause from social media. We do need to take a pause, not just from different things in our lives, but it is important. And so we want to just talk today and share on our tea time this afternoon of why it's important. Okay, because sometimes we can say things and really don't know why. Why is it important to sometimes take a pause and reset and build resilience? And so, again, we're going to go ahead and just share some things. And I want you just to chime in, even looking at this picture. And even as you're chiming in regarding what you see here on this picture, I'm going to go ahead and take a sip of my ginger drink. This afternoon, I don't have coffee. I don't have tea, but I have ginger drink. And I'm a lover of ginger. I love ginger. I love strong ginger. And so I embrace it. So I'm going to take just a sip of what I'm having today and go ahead. And as you're chiming in, then we'll share with our Tea Time community before we move on into some deeper understanding about the pros and cons of social media. I tell you that ginger, that ginger is refreshing. If you want something to wake you up and get you going, I tell you, use ginger, have ginger. I do ginger candies and sweets. And I see some comments are coming in. All right. Monique says many are drawn to monitoring social media accounts consistently. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Monique. That's very good. I see people being drawn to the same place, but separated according to their personal interest. All right, that's very good. I'm glad you shared that. That's very good. Thank you so much for sharing that. Living in faith every day. Thank you for sharing that. And as you guys are chiming in with this, I want you to continue to, just gaze at this picture and even journal about what you see visually, what's taking place in this picture. For me, what I see is I see the magnet and I see this people being drawn in to a magnet, right? And what does a magnet do? A magnet, it attracts things. And when you draw it in, it gets stuck to, what it's drawing into. So that's what I'm seeing when I see this magnet here on the screen here regarding social media, the pros and the cons, and understanding about social media as well this afternoon. So we have to understand again, we've always shared the principles about taking time to put our phone down, taking time to get off social media at a certain time or however our lives go. Today, we're just going to dig deeper into understanding social media use and the balance. Okay. And so again, for the pros of social media, social media, it can be fun. It's a way that we stay connected to people in our lives. And so, but more time, spent on social media is less time, connecting face to face as well. So it seems like, even with social media, even though we're connecting, with people, I can connect with somebody here that's all the way in Jamaica, or somebody that's all the way across the country, or someone who's all the way across, in another another continent. But then there again, even for our, face-to-face time with friends and family and enjoying our hobbies and paying attention to work and school, sometimes it can become excessive, right? So social media use can become kind of excessive, and it does affect at some point our physical and mental health. And so we're going to discuss that today. I want you to chime in your comments and just just give some feedback on how you've benefited from social media, because again, there is the pros and there is the cons of social media. And again, it keeps us connected to being with each other, keeps us connected to, with friends. Even what we're doing right now with our Tea Time platform is social media based, that keeps us together as a community, right? So Tea Time is our community that we come together, and we're using the social media platform to do so. So this is a positive place where we're pausing, resetting, and building resilience. And so that's the good pro thing about it. So I want you to go ahead and chime into this as well. Again, we hear social media, and it's not just about, younger people or teenagers. This is for everyone. And it not only brings awareness to us, but it also can help us to bring awareness to our family, bring awareness to our friends, bring balance to our families. And so we're going to dig in even more about it as you're chiming in with your comments or your writing or whatever you do. So my first question for you to chime in is, how has social media been effective for you in a positive way? What have you received from social media that has been positive, that has positively affected you? For me, I'll share just connections. I've been able to connect with old high school, college friends, different people that I wasn't able to come across. Those opportunities were given to me by connecting through social media. And social media is everything: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all those things are social media. So you can chime in and just talk about how these things have affected you in a positive way. And because we have adjusted to a society where social media is embedded in our society, this not only affects it affects our personal life, it affects our productivity. It affects our mental state and physical state as well. Some people don't look at it that way, but as we continue to go on, I'm going to share a few things regarding how it affects us. All right. And so Carmela Head says, I see people design with what's immediately around them, not seeing what's around them. Heads are down. All right, I got what you're saying. Thank you so much, Carmela, for sharing that. Basically, they're just focused in on what they have in their hand. They're focused in, like Carmela's saying, on what they have in their hand, but they're not focused on what's going on around them. And I'm glad that you have shared that point regarding social media. And I know this is a little different this afternoon, but even as I was thinking about tea time. I thought about how we often share about doing things, but sometimes we have to dig deeper into why we're doing them and why it's important to have balance. Even though sometimes I can say, oh, I'm fine. I have, I've set, boundaries and different things. This is a part of setting boundaries because it's a part of our everyday life. Thank you so much for sharing that, Carmela. All right, I see living in faith every day. I got to be a part of loved ones' lives from different parts of the world in real time as they post and update events. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that's been important to me as well, living in faith every day, because I've been able to connect with family members, been able to have some social positive groups that you become a part of. So that is a positive thing. I see Daphne has chimed in. I enjoy social media with boundaries. It keeps me in contact with my family, ministry, and learnings, which allows me to increase my growth both professionally and personally. Thank you so much for sharing that, Daphne. I like what you said. You said you enjoy social media with boundaries, okay? And then it keeps us again. It keeps us intact with our ministry. It keeps us intact with our family, and again, Tea Time Tuesday is a social media group that we're a part of. So this is a good thing that we've been able to grow even from having tea time through social media. And so that's the positive thing about it. And I thank you so much for chiming in regarding social media. But then I want to talk from an aspect of social media and how it impacts mental health as well, because it can. And I thank you so much all for chiming in. I want you to kind of chime in with this. And I want you to journal about this. This is a journal point that I want to share with you all. Your journal. How does social media affect mental health from a positive or negative way? That is my question I pose to you, Tea Time community. And I want you to chime in either through the chat, or you can journal this and then go back and think about it and reflect on it or sit with it. How does social media affect us in a positive or good way? How has it affected you? That's my question to you all, Tea Time community. So I'm looking forward to you guys engaging with us and sharing some points. That way we're continuing to build resilience when it comes to in this area. All right. So this is very, very good. So I'm just going to share as you guys are chiming in just a few things regarding how it can impact or how different things go on regarding social media, and just some things that sometimes we don't even really think about. All right. And so even then I want to give you some things that we can do at the end to share regarding some things that we can have that will bring positive reinforcement to keep a great balance in how we're dealing and interacting with social media. So sometimes with social media, it can be distracting. Okay. Social media can be distracting. Not only just like we have the positive part of it, but it can be distracting. Sometimes it can impact our relationships. It can distract us from work or school. Sometimes it can be, problematic, and I can even say this by having to monitor my own social media accounts, my own boundaries with it. Even social media, sometimes it leaves you depressed or anxious or sometimes angry. And so sometimes we need to reevaluate the use of how we're using it and why we're using it, right? And so some of us may use it, to like this platform again for tea time. Some of us may use it for our ministry or posting about our businesses and marketing our products and services. It just depends on the use your use and why you're using it. Okay, our executive director Patrick Brown says knowing your why for social media provides the guidelines for engagement. Thank you for sharing that. And that's what I was getting into. Thank you so much, Patrick, for sharing that, because it does take the time to see, why am I using it? What am I on here for? Again, just a part of just engaging with others, marketing my business, marketing my products. Okay, I see Nicole Pennell has chimed in. You must have a strong sense of a self to avoid the influence that social media can cause. That is a very, very good comment. Thank you so much for sharing that, Nicole. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. And then just being mindful of what I'm looking at, how I'm looking at it, and the lens I'm looking at it from. That affects me, affects us mentally in a good or a positive way. All right, I see that Monique has chimed in and she says social media has had a positive impact in my life through engaging with others in the faith, community, business, and ministry. So that's a great way that you have used social media to have that engagement that positively affects your life. And again, that's the pros of it. Now the cons of it, like again I said, it social media can be distracting. It can cause feelings of being envious, even depressed, having anxiety. And so that's why we need to reevaluate our use. And sometimes it's good to have, we may need to have a detox from social media and spend some time offline in order to keep and maintain balance, maintain boundaries, but also maintain a healthy mental health space. That is very important. As we know, there's so much information being thrown at us, not just through social media, but it may be through news, maybe through what we're watching. There's just so much information, and we can be getting to a place of information overload, which will overload us mentally. And we always want to make sure that we have a healthy be in a healthy mental state so that we can continue to be productive. I see some comments coming in. It can be uplifting and empowering, especially on days I may feel disconnected, okay, from the outside world because I'm home 24/7. Absolutely. And I understand. I get that because I work from home. And so when you're working from home, it is a way of staying connected, engaging with people, again, monitoring how you're using it and why you're using it. Thank you so much for sharing that, living in faith every day. All right. All right. And it also says sometimes it can be draining and exhausting when I see so many hurting and grieving at the same time. That is very important. And I'm glad that you shared that, living in faith every day, because I have had a time where I was, I'm on social media and you may see a lot of hurt, people being lost, life, this different things. And I have to kind of like self talk and tell myself, okay, enough. It's time to shut it down. And so I'm going to share some pointers toward the end on healthy ways of how we can navigate through that. Monique says social media can influence our youth to engage in things that are not positive, including cyberbullying. And I'm glad you shared that, Monique, about influencing youth to engage in things that are not positive, including cyberbullying. Not only youth, I found adults, okay? Not only youth, but adults who are engaging in bullying and engaging in non-positive thoughts that affect their personal lives as well. So it's definitely an influence of our young people, and definitely an influence of no matter what age you are, being that a lot of people are engaging in social media at all ages. Before it was just like Facebook when it first started out, it was more of a college young community, but now it has grown into a place in a social media platform where people of all ages have a social media account and engage. And so that was the first point that I wanted to share regarding, we shared some pros, sharing some cons regarding social media and how it can distract. Okay. And even social media, we can use social media to help to avoid negative emotions, like some of you just shared. All right. So it can help us with, like you were saying, that you were at home alone, at home by yourself a lot, or home a lot at home alone or by yourself. I'm sorry about that. And so even with that, being home 24/7, and I can contest to that. Social media is a way where I can go on and during the day and read positive comment, positive quotes, reinforce positive things as well. So again, that's something else to use social media to avoid negative emotions or negative thoughts, which is good for our mental health as well. And so I just want to, as you guys are chiming in, I just want to share, as we're sharing some things about social media, some things about some social media habits and having social media that may have like a positive and negative impact on our lives and of course our mental health. So sometimes again, it with social media, it has a flip side. It can be like we just said, it can help you to connect. Okay. And then sometimes it can bring anxiety. It can make it sometimes people feel lonely. Loneliness is increasing, and sometimes we're spending more time on social media than when we do with our real friends and real family members, right? Not saying that our friends are not real on social media, but we have to understand sometimes social media takes away from the interaction of the people that are actively face to face and actively in our life. And I'll use an example. And I was speaking to someone earlier about this, is that, having our phones at the table. I'm engaged in a conversation with someone, but I'm constantly picking up my phone. I'm constantly looking at my phone. If I'm scrolling on social media or checking internet or whatever I'm doing, it causes that disconnect from the person that I'm physically face to face with. It causes the disconnect from interacting with face-to-face contact. It sometimes it causes the disconnect also with just everything is sent through a message, and no one, it disconnects that phone to phone conversation or the face-to-face interactions that we as human beings were made to need. We're relational. And so Facebook is and different platforms, Twitter and all those things, and Instagram, they are where we do face-to-face interactions as far as, looking. But sometimes it takes away. And even I have to be mindful, even when I'm sitting or talking with someone, not to pick up my phone and start scrolling on my phone or start looking at different things, and pay attention to the person that is in front of me, that does deserve my attention and respect, right? And so I see some comments that have come in. Social media can influence. Okay, I'm sorry. I read this already. Thank you, Pastor Monique. All right. And Patrick Brown says social media has a reinforcing nature. Using it activates the brain's reward center by releasing dopamine and feel good chemicals. It's designed to be addictive. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. And you're absolutely right. And I was going to get into that. Thank you so much for sharing that great comments, Monique and Patrick, and everyone else who's engaging regarding this. Patrick also says when the outcome of social media is unpredictable, the behavior is more likely to repeat, like a slot machine. Absolutely. It's just like that casino. I don't get into, I don't really do it, but I have seen it firsthand with loved ones who the slot, and you just keep going and until you want to get the result that you're needing. And so thank you so much for sharing that, Patrick. That is a great analogy that you shared. Most definitely. Yes. Thank you so much. And so there again, spending time on social media, and then it's the real world and real friends and real family members. Not saying that social media is not real, but I'm saying the people that we are engaged with face to face, or the people we have relationship with, sometimes it kind of takes away from that, right? And then also that point, not only does it take away from that, but social media can also have it to where people can begin to compare themselves to one another. Compare yourselves with others on social media. You'll find certain feelings, and you're looking at other people's lives, and maybe it's real, maybe it's not, but that you can go into a place of comparison, a place of unhealthy feelings. All right, I see some comments coming in from Carmela, and she says it's good to become better active listeners and reducing our usage while around others. That's the point right there. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you for sharing that, Carmela. It is very important. And I've even had to tell myself, hey, put the phone down. Give the undivided attention to the person that is sitting before me, whether it's my family member. Okay, I'm going to set the phone down. I'm going to actually make a phone call. I'm not going to send a message to him. Don't get me wrong. It's good as well for convenience, but some things just have to be face to face and more personable. And so here we understand that though we have this in our life, it's diff, it can be negative. All right. And so Toy says, yes, the comparison trap. Absolutely. Comparison trap. You're on social media, you're comparing yourselves to others. Sometimes people, they make you jealous, envious. It just causes a negative feelings that can impact the health, your mental health state. Okay. And that's another thing that I want to share as well. Just engaging in healthy behaviors. And when you see these types of things taking place, that's when it's time to take a pause. That's when it's time to reset. That's when it's time to step away. And that's the boundaries that we have to keep when it regards even social media and how we interact with social media. And see, and even sometimes our engaging, even on social media, can be risky behavior. You know, sometimes we're doing things to kind of receive likes from people because we want to be affirmed. And so if it becomes a place where you're in a perpetual state, a perpetual place, even like what our executive director Patrick said, of just wanting to get that feeling and hitting that slot machine and wanting to get that feeling, and then you start doing risky things and start doing things that may not even be you, just to obtain affirmation. A lot of different things. We all take photos on Facebook. We all take photos on Instagram, Snapchat, all those different things. But sometimes you have to watch the balance. You have to watch the core. You have to get to the intent of why. Okay, so that's the good part about it. So we're sharing that. And as you guys are sharing and chiming in this afternoon, I'm going to go ahead and see some comments coming in. Silvio says, please pray for Karen Middles and heal her from guidance and weakness in body and neck pain and breast pain. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that this afternoon. Definitely will be praying. Thank you for sharing that. All right. Monique says here, it's a good idea to find creative ways for our youth to engage in activities and hobbies outside of social media, finding ways to engage in conversation. And that's what I was saying. It takes away the intimacy of conversation. And the best way that we can do that, Monique, and I'm glad that you shared that, is by leading by example. We have to lead by example if other people are going to see. If I'm constantly sticking to my phone all day, I'm around my kids or nieces and nephews, and that's all they see me doing, they'll follow suit. So some things start by example, giving an example, giving a positive reinforcement, saying, hey, everybody, no phones at the table during dinner, no phones at this time we're going to engage, we're going to play some games, we're going to go for a walk in nature, we're going to engage in a conversation, no phones are allowed. Having those healthy boundaries to help, especially when we're talking about youth and engaging with youth and teenagers and the youth, it is led by example. And so we know how youth is like, well, you're not, how they say, well, you're always on there, so how can you so we have to just lead by example and then set the boundaries to get them understand how important it is to have conversation, that we need conversation. All right. And so that's a good thing. And I'm glad that you shared that. You said creative ways for our youth to engage in activities and hobbies. And we can do that by initiating and leading that they see us engaging in activities and hobbies. That way they will do the same as well. And so we are, again, sharing about social media, the pros and cons. Okay. And so also, you were talking about, even Monique, your comment led up to this is about our work obligations, our family life, school work, or anything it may be suffering because the discipline may be there, the time. We have to be good stewards of our time. And I found this out is that if I'm looking like, I didn't have enough time, it's kind of like if I wasn't on this particular platform for so long, I could have implemented my time correctly and given good stewardship to what is priority. Okay, and so sometimes it's just even that. Even it takes away time from self-care, self-reflection, even exercise, even sleeping. So it just depends on who you are. And as we're sharing, because we're a tea time community, we want to make sure that we keep a balance. Again, awareness is power. When you're aware of something and when you're aware of your activities, if you're aware of what you're doing, you can decide on how you want to use it. Again, it's not a negative thing. Again, we're on Tea Time on social media. This is a positive platform. Many other platforms, many other things that go online that take place that are positive. But sometimes along with that, we have to understand the balance thereof. And I will admit, sometimes I will pick the phone up, and that's why I have special things on my phone, notifications, apps that monitor my time, apps that monitor what I do, turning off notifications at a certain time to ensure that I remain in a healthy space. Patrick says social media is a tool of engagement. All tools take on the character of the user. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much. And that is very true. Monique says monitor screen time. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Monique. Toya says, along with email to my community, social media is a great place for me to create awareness for my business. Absolutely. And we stated that earlier, that, social media is a place that we use to, if you ministry or your business or marketing tools, how you market, and engaging with people, family and friends, college friends, groups. I'm a part of different groups from, my elementary, high school, and college friends, different things like that. Those are positive engagements as well. But again, I was that comment that Patrick said about social media is a tool of engagement, and all tools take on the character of the user. So it takes on the character of the person that's using. Some, like, again, we have the positive part, and then we have, the pros and the cons, again, about social media. And so we want to be aware of different things that we're moving into and understanding the impact on social media, how it impacts our relationships, how can impact in a positive way by groups that build up and certain things like that, and how it can also impact in a negative way, depends upon the actual user. Thank you so much for sharing. I see Toy has a comment. She says, "Ooh, that's good. Takers on the character of the person using it." Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing. So it's all about the person. Awareness brings power. When an individual is aware of actions, when an individual is aware of patterns, when an individual is aware of how their patterns and actions are, then you become aware of what you're doing and how you're doing and why you're doing it. Then you become aware of your use. The question sometimes is asking, okay, why am I on here? What am I doing? And sometimes even time of pulling away when you veer off of the reason of why you're on. If I'm on here to do business, I'm on here and engage with my family. We have a family group. I'm in here to do that. Sometimes our things can veer us away because of we can't control the content of other people. We can't control what's being posted by other people either. So sometimes that can pull you away, and then it can also pull you away from that time of just having the intimacy as well. And certain things that our youth deal with is cyber bullying and trolling and different things like that. And then you have to understand, how do I know if I need a social media balance? How do I know if that's something that I need to implement? And again, that's on the individual person as well. So, again, certain things that we don't think is like, maybe even I've been guilty of checking social media while I'm sometimes work meeting, while in a class. Okay, it affects performance. So what we're doing today through Tea Time is giving and releasing information to give us an awareness of certain behaviors so that we can improve and then be able to utilize the social media tool even in a more greater or impactful way as well. All right. So again, even at the dinner table, even while we're having dinner with others, and our friendships, our relationships that need to be attended to with a face-to-face interaction encounter. Just the different things that we can do. We have to consider a more effective approach to balance. So even with our tea time community this afternoon, we're considering a more effective approach to how we interact with social media. And that's on the individual. That's why awareness brings power. So there we have to consider, why am I doing it? And is it taking away from anything? And I'm going to tell you something. One thing that I did that I will share with you all is I began to take a look at my social media, how much time I spent. Now, being that I have a complex schedule in life, and so this was the awareness that I brought to myself, and I'm sharing it with you in transparency that it will help you. I was looking and I saw one time and I seen the time. I was disturbed by what I saw on how much time I had spent. And I'm like, wow. Then I was thinking, and it brought awareness to me, and I journaled about it. And then what happened is even though I was using it for a positive reinforcement, it takes away from other positive reinforcements outside of social media. So in areas where I need to market offline, because that's not just the only tool that I need to market what I need to do. I come from a day and age where, I live without it. Okay. We just adjust to what's going on today. But then I began to look and I said, wow. So I need to readjust and be a good steward of my time, because I can't load all of what I'm doing in just a social media market. There's things I need to be doing outside, things I need to be doing in my community, things I need to be giving a physical touch to relationships. So what I did was I stopped, messaging certain people. I would tell people, please call me. If you know me personally, call me on my phone, call me, we can still use it, but I began to adjust the time that it was being used, even though I was using it in a positive way. All right. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you. Disrupted listening. I have been there. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Toy. Come on now, you said that. Yes, absolutely. So there again, thank you so much for sharing that. We are, again, you said set the people free. Awareness sets us free. When I saw that on my app, and actually Facebook will tell you how much time you spent on the platform. Okay, I use several platforms, but this particular platform I was looking at was Facebook. And I think one time it was like 2 hours a day, or it was something that I knew that was not, it was outrageous. And I said no. And that's when I start putting different things on my phone as well. It takes away from me creating content or whatever you need to do. So I just wanted to share that about how even so it can be addictive. You have to find a social media balance. Okay, and how to limit social media app use. Okay, we're going to be wrapping it up. So I'm going to share with you guys some things that can help by bringing awareness of how we can limit social media app use. Okay, so like I was saying, I use a app tracker. That's what I use. And an app tracker just gives you the amount of time you're spending on social media apps. Okay, some apps, like I said, Facebook has been built in with timers. And with my Facebook, I've given a timer to say I will not spend over 30 minutes a day or 30 minutes on, it's very detailed, 30 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day on social media. And what happens is when I do it and I go over, a notification will come on my phone and says, you have reached the limit. You have reached the limit for today. Now they also have a part where it says ignore the limit. Okay, they give you an option to where you can actually ignore the limit. So I wanted to share that with you, that you can use app trackers. You can set your phone to grayscale. I have that too. Phone. One thing about apps, because we're visual, they can be eye-catching, they're exciting, just kind of like what Patrick shared about that slot machine, that excitement. So sometimes changing the settings even on our phone, and sometimes when you're detoxing from social media, you can also delete some media apps as well. I want to share also, before we ending, to turn off push notifications, turn off your notifications as well. Notifications are designed to help us to check in with the apps, which increases us to start scrolling. That's what happens, and that's what I found out is when a notification comes, I'll check the notification, and then I'll find myself going on, and my time is being wasted. So sometimes notifications, they do help. Also, create for me, and I'm working on this right now, creating a no phone zone. Okay, so this is made to, and even as I was trying to get that together and implement it for myself, it's cutting down, for example, from me checking my phone, bed at night, or sometimes first thing in the morning, and definitely my boundary, and I'm working on this now, is not having it at the dinner table when I am with family and dear friends, as a respect to those whom that I love. So this is a no phone zone. It was a time where I would have to take it everywhere with me, walk with it. Now I just leave it. I just sit it down and leave it. And whoever's gonna call or the notifications that's coming through, that's fine. Also, before we close, I want to also share for these devices, these phones that we have. They're smartphones. They're called smart for a reason. And so they have certain things on the phone. Like mine has an app on there where it's called the focus zone. So through a certain amount of time, I can put it to where I'm not receiving any notifications from anybody. Okay. It's a time of focus. And then I have another app for, it says mental health. And that helps to say, okay, shut this down. But what happens is, for me, you can set it up. We have exceptions, maybe from certain people that can be able, that depending on how your relationship is, that they can have access to. Because some people, certain family and friends, maybe a sick family member, whatever it may be, they may need to be able to contact you. And so that's how I have it set up. I have it set up where certain people can get through, certain text messages can get through, certain notifications can get through. Then I have it set at a certain time between 11 or 10 o'clock to 7 p.m. I get no notifications from Facebook. And I have to control myself, again, as a user, not to go on my own, because the notifications aren't any good if you're going on past what you've placed to help a boundary, and you're going over your own boundary and going in. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Carmela back on with us this afternoon, and just get her feedback about the pros and cons of social media. So what would you like to share, Carmela?
No, I just want to say thank you for bringing awareness to the pros and cons of social media. One of the things that jumped out, especially that's near and dear to me, is active listening. And, those practices of I like the no phone zone, being able to take the opportunity to not be so engaged in your phone that you're forgetting that you're seated in front of someone and giving them your undivided attention. So this is have some good nuggets to glean from today, and to be more proactive in the uses of our time.
All right. Thank you so much. I see some comments here. I've started creating content offline and then schedule it to post. That is good. That's what I've started to do too, living in faith every day. Absolutely. I've already created, creating the content offline, but now I'm more into doing it and then releasing what needs to be released online. And so I'm pulling away, even though, I use the social media for positivity and different things, and promoting my business, marketing my products, books and services. But then I have to pull away, Carmela, to say, hey, there's other things outside of this social media platform that I can use and put my time into to also market and connect with the community and connect with people face to face. And so, yeah, so that's what I've started to do as well. All right. So thank you all for sharing. If anybody wants to give their feedback, we have a few announcements, but anybody wants to give their feedback, you can go ahead and put that into the chat. And while you're giving your feedback, I would like to invite you to our Giving Tuesday. All right. Our Giving Tuesday. This is something we do every Tuesday, all day long. As for the Renewal Center, we invite you to join us for the opportunity to connect with us financially. The Renewal Center is a nonprofit organization, and we thank you in advance for giving to the Renewal Center. We thank you in advance for your contributions as we continue to expand. And this is our Giving Tuesday, and I'm going to go ahead and share our ways that you can give here. And go ahead, and here we have several ways that you can give as well to the Renewal Center. We have our website, we have our text to give, which is really convenient. We have our PayPal, we have our Zelle, we have Venmo, Cash App, and for those who would like to mail a check or money order, the information is located here on the screen where you can do so. So this is a great way that you can connect to the Renewal Center by giving to us on Tea Time Tuesdays. Let's come together collectively, since we are community, and just go ahead and embrace that giving, because we're a Tea Time community, right? We've had this community going for a while, so we invite you to be able to give because we have some great things that are coming. We have already launched our grief recovery. We are excited about this, and the giving goes to this on us to be able to implement and continue to create and provide services through a virtual and through a community perspective. And so here we have our grief individual sessions. We have our grief group sessions, which are going to kick off during the summertime. That's GPS, grief, pain, and stress group sessions. If you know of anybody who has had a loss of anything, not just a death, it could be a job or just moving or whatever they may be facing, please refer them to the Renewal Center. This is what we do. This is who we are as a community. And so we invite you to be able to give to us here at the Renewal Center as well, with our options to be able to give. Also, we want to invite you to this year's 4th Carolina Prophetic Gathering. This is from April 27th through the 29th, in sync with Christ. You don't want to miss this. This is going to be a phenomenal time. We have some great leaders, as well as myself and Pastor and Carmela, who are going to be speakers and facilitators. Please join us. Registration is open, and please save the date. Go ahead and register. Make sure to share and invite someone to join us. This is going to be held together live. So this is not going to be anything we're doing virtual. We're going to be together as a community, and we're going to be in sync with Christ through these particular servants that God has put together, that we're going to be releasing things to help to add and implement and edify the body of Christ. We invite you to join us for this year, 4th Carolina Prophetic Gathering, from April 27th through the 28th to the 29th this year. You can go on our social media pages, and you can go to our ticket, to Eventbrite to register for this time of great. It's going to be held at the Harvest Center. So we invite you to join us. All right. So that concludes our tea time for this afternoon. I hope that this has been great. I'm going to see some comments that's come in. All right. I see Daphne says, great session, very much needed. Love learning about each person's perspective regarding social media. Thank you so much, Daphne, for sharing it. Thank you for sharing your comments as well. All right. Great session today. Thank you so much, Carlissa. Thank you. All right. Toy says, awesome. Thank you, Toy. Monique says, great tea time topic. Thank you for a great conversation. That's what we do. All right. Toy says she is ready. She's ready for the prophetic gathering. Thank you for your excitement about the prophetic gathering. Please remember to register. Thank you. We are excited about that. Yes, we are. All right. And our executive director, Patrick Brown, says, thank you. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to this afternoon's tea time. We look forward to you all coming next Tuesday, which is going to be our evening session, okay? Which starts at 7:30. We want you to join us. Is it 7 or 7:30, Carmela?
7 o'clock. 7. I almost had to think about it myself. 7 o'clock.
Yes. So we want you to join us next Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. for tea time. We're all going to be together. Please join us. This is an exciting time. Remember to invite and share. Carmela, did you have any last comments?
Oh no, I was just sitting here agreeing that thanks to all of our Tea Time community and engaging with Tea Time today. And we appreciate all of the engagement that we have, our takeaways. And this is sharpening one another.
Yes, it is. Again, thank you all. Thank you, Carmela. Thank you all for joining us on Tea Time. Remember to take care of one another. And remember, I am renewal. You all have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. And remember to implement those things that we talked about for our social media health. Have a great day.